Well, what did you do with your old Christmas tree? Look at that. Actually, that's a beauty. That hurts my feelings to know that it's just cut down and thrown in a heap a few days after Christmas. And look, that looks like a blue spruce. In fact, it looks like two blue spruces. But anyway, Christmas is over, and what did you do with your tree? And if you threw it out for the trash man, shame on you. Because there was an appeal in the paper for old Christmas trees. And they wanted them out at Lake J. Paul Combs. You see the lake behind, and they want to fix fish beds. And evidently they'll tie these into bundles, and they will sink them in the lake, and that will be a place where fish will love to lay eggs. Now, that's not the way I remember how fish lay eggs, but anyway, that's what they're supposed to do with these trees. We're here today to see some of the people I think are coming down from Cape Girardeau. You'll meet them in just a few minutes. We're going to sit in the car out of this wind until they get here, and then we'll see what they plan to do with these trees. Well, the men have arrived from the Department of Conservation. We'll watch them as they come in. Okay, tell me your name.
I'm Chris Kennedy with the Missouri Department of Conservation. I'm Chris Kennedy.
Chris Kennedy, and I'm Rosemary Burcham. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
I think I heard him say, we were waiting a few minutes, and I heard him say the bad accident down the road.
Yeah, they had a pretty bad wreck up the road. I think it was pretty close to head-on collision.
Oh, okay. Now, today, what's the order of events? What are you going to do here?
Well, we're going to put trees in for Habitat for Fish. We plan on stocking fish here in April. We're going to stock it with largemouth bass, bluegill, channel catfish, and black crappie. The channel catfish that we put in here are going to be a little bit larger than what we normally stock to give anglers opportunity to catch some fish. We do plan on opening the lake as soon as the fish are stocked.
You mean we're going to fish?
Yes.
The same month that you're going to put in?
And that's a little bit unusual. But since we've had so many problems with this lake, we want to get anglers out here fishing.
So we're going to do big fish. Now, we came...
Well, we're going to do big channel catfish. Yeah.
2 years ago. Mm-hmm. When did you stock it? 2 years ago?
Yeah, I believe it was.
And we saw the fish. We came out when you had the tanks on the truck and got all that. We want to do that again this year.
Okay.
I want to see some of those big channel cats we're going to put in there. What size are they? Show me.
We're looking at in between 15 to 15.
Oh, look at this. Turn around, measure this for him. And when I when I catch it, it's going to be this long.
Well, hopefully.
No, same month.
You get out there the same day, you might.
Right. When I tell it, it's this long anyway. All right. So you're going to put in. How many will you put in?
I'm not sure on the numbers yet, and I don't think the biologist is sure yet.
Does it depend on the size of the lake?
Yeah.
It
depends on the size of the lake. Normally, we'll stock it anywhere from 25 to 30 per acre.
Okay. Now, the trees that you're going to put in, you say habitat, but not for fish beds, not for egg laying or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
also for egg laying.
Yeah.
Anytime you put in fish habitat, it makes fish more comfortable. It promotes spawning habitat, places for fish to hide, places for fish to find other fish to eat. And just about any time you go fishing, if you're fishing around structure, you're going to find a fish.
Yes, and you can hang up better there, too.
Yeah, well, that's a part of it.
And you can say rats and bracklefrats, and you can't get your line loose. And you'll say, this is one of those Christmas trees that they threw in.
But you also could catch that big bass out there on one of those Christmas trees, too.
That's right. Okay, now, we want to watch you as you... What are you going to do to these trees? I see you have a pile down here and this pile.
Well, we got a pile up here. We'll move this pile up to the ramp right here.
Okay.
We're going to tie these trees up, and probably about 3 to 4 trees per block.
Can we get you doing that?
Yeah.
Per block?
No problem. Yes. where we weight the trees down with the block. We tie them to a block so the trees will sink when we put them in.
Okay. Okay, so that's what the blocks are doing in the back of the boat.
Yep.
Well, I guess I hadn't thought. You know, I remember we tried to sink some bales of hay once in a lake to fix a place where we could fish. And you know, we went along and we dumped out all these bales of hay, and every one of them floated to the top and floated off.
Yeah, you got to weight them down.
You sure have to.
You got to weight them down.
Oh, wow, we didn't know that. All right, we want to get you doing the work.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, now Everett Farmer just drove up, and Everett, what are you doing out here?
I'm gonna help them tie these trees together.
You are?
And they won't let me take them out in the lake because they don't want me to find those hot spots. See?
That's what you're really here for. You're really here to see
where they're going to put those.
That's right.
trees.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and I had three more volunteers that I was supposed to pick up, and I can't locate any of them.
That's the way it goes. You can't trust. You can't trust men.
I can't trust them.
No, I'm going to stand back and watch you.
Well, I can do it.
All right.
I can do it. I'm an old hand at that.
And tying trees and putting them in the lake while you're not.
Well, no, he said I couldn't put them in the lake. He said I could tie them up.
All right.
He said these other boys would put them in the lake.
All right.
But I'm going to watch them, and then I'm going to mark it on my map.
You go out and put a little colored ink on top of the water. Okay.
Just make an X mark out there on the water.
All right. This is the new Dunklin County Conservation Agent. Hi, Rosemary Burchell.
Rosemary, okay. Now I knew they got a hold of you.
You're
Darrin Petit.
Darrin Petit, and you're new in this area.
Yes, ma'am. I've been here just a couple weeks, so I'm about as new as you can get.
And you're out here to just supervise and watch, or are you going to carry a block or wrap a tree, or what are you going to do?
Well, I don't know yet. I got my gloves in the truck, so I'm just going to see what they need me to do, and then I might get out here and work, or just whatever they need. I'm just here to help today.
So this is the fellow we're going to see around for a few months.
You're going to see me around, God willing, a lot more than a few months.
Ah, okay. All right. Good. Now, this is the work part of this work. I mean, those concrete blocks weigh a lot of trees down. What about coming into this area? This is close to home, really, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. I'm originally from Scott County, I grew up just south Cape Girardeau, and so I'm about an hour and a half away at home, so it's nice to be this close, but yet far enough away, too.
Now, I saw you greet some of these fellows. You've known them before?
Yes, ma'am. Before I became a conservation agent, I worked with the Fisheries Division for a little over 4 years, and I worked with Chris and Brian and the rest of Mark Boone, the manager of this lake, so I'm very familiar with the guys and what they're doing, and very familiar with this area because I worked out here the first time around, so...
You actually were here when they were stocking it before?
Yes, ma'am. I put in a lot of...
Did we get you on TV?
I don't know if you did or not. I was trying to hide, so probably not, but...
Hey, that'd be interesting if we still have that,
Yeah.
Go back and... Okay, this time around, I hope we have better luck with those fish.
I believe we're going to. Hang on just...
All right. At this point now, the boat motor usually won't start, but I hear he's got this going, so he's all right. They'd be embarrassed if that motor wouldn't start.
It hadn't started before, I can promise you.
I bet that's true. They're the most cantankerous things in the world, a boat to... Oh, he's going to float free. Yeah, he's got it made. All right, so this much is done. Well, do you have a certain number of trees you put in a pile, or do you just sort of eyeball it and see how many you need?
We usually tie 3 to 4 to a block,
Okay.
and we'll put 10 in a pile in the lake.
Alan? Because these Christmas trees kind of tend to float when you first put them in, and until they get waterlogged and they get heavy, they'll float for a little while. So as long as the block doesn't float, we're all right.
Yeah.
What's up, Brian?
Yeah, I see it.
Put all the water you got, Brian?
Yeah.
Water freezing.
What?
You got a pair too?
Yeah, a couple pair, I think.
So Darrin winds the wire around the tree. He's an old hand at this. As you heard him say, he worked here several years ago when they stocked this the first time. And they also went through sinking trees and the whole bit.
Beth, come back here. Come here. You want to go back and see that? Look, that boat's going over.
All right, you see a boatload of old used Christmas trees, all tied together with concrete blocks. And the wind is so strong, it's pushed the boat against the concrete bank. All right, we've got it loose. Now, all you have to do is just make a mental note of where this boat's going with all these Christmas trees. And then you're going to see where they're going to put this load, and that's where you want to be sure and come and drop in a hook when you get out here. All you got to do is just keep the spot in your mind. How deep is this? Do you remember? Do you know approximately how deep?
The first time, if I remember correctly, it went in intervals of 12 to 10 to 8 to 6 feet.
Okay.
It sloped off at different spots in the lake.
Okay.
And I assume it's the same as it was the first time. It might be different, but.
And they're going to put them out. All right, they've already put right off that point. Now, all you got to remember is that it's right off the point.
Right.
And they're going to put out just one concrete block with a bundle tied in each area, or are they going to put a bunch together?
Well, they'll put a bunch together. What you'll want is you'll want a cluster of trees. That way it'll give more of a habitat for the fish. And sometimes you'll just put them all in a big circle, or sometimes you'll put them out in running lines together, kind of like a Chex-Mex, I guess you say, with the crosses. It just depends on what the biologist wants, but they'll put more than one group together because just 3 or 4 trees aren't sufficient enough for a good habitat. You need more than that to have better structure. So.
Now, you said you helped do this the last time they did it.
Yes, ma'am.
And how did you, when did you decide you wanted to become a conservation agent?
Well, I decided that about 3 years ago, I guess, when I was in college. I started doing an internship with them, and I did a lot of riding along and volunteered a lot of time. And that was something that I really enjoyed and something I really, really always wanted to do, and I was lucky enough to work for the conservation department, so I already had some knowledge of the job, and I was able to take it from there and get into the job itself.
Okay, and what specialized training have you taken?
Well, we have a 6-month training academy in Jefferson City for all the conservation agents. We stay in the Highway Patrol Academy in the dorms up there for 6 months, and we have class, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at least, and normally a lot more than that. And we cover everything from the logistics of it to the criminal justice to fisheries to wildlife, forestry. We have a lot to learn in a short amount of time.
All right, so they're going to have to make several trips today.
This will be.
When I heard it rain last night, I thought, now I wonder if they'll come on down and do this if it's really rainy and bad. But it's pretty and bright, but boy, that wind's cold. Well, so you see how it's done, from the delivering your Christmas trees to this spot to the men who come with concrete blocks and tie it together, and the help that they have from here and put them out, and all you've got to do is just come out and fish in April, and you're going to catch catfish that long.